SABO,
Hey, how are you doing?
how's it going, brother?
Nigel?
Nigel, yeah.
Okay.
So we don't know each other, but Robert Caldwell, our video guy, he said he went to school with you and art school, and
Yeah.
he said you got to talk to this guy, and he's a interesting cat. So thank you for letting us come to your studio. This is
Sure.
I've never really been in a place that looks like this. Where are we exactly?
Well, you are in my studio, Unsavory Asian Studio on the west side, I guess. And it normally doesn't look like this. The thing is, I'm working on a book. And this is work from the past handful of years. And I had it in a portfolio, but I'm like, okay, I want to be able to look at it and paginate the pages and do the writing. And so that's what you're looking at here.
So all these photos behind us, this is real.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to give away locations, but this is all in LA, right? Is that where you're hitting most of your spots?
Yeah, LA, Hollywood, Brentwood, places like that.
Why LA?
Why not? It's like, in my reality, it's LA or New York, and you couldn't pay me to move to New York. So, LA's my home.
Yeah. We were coming in and I noticed, the red flag, actually the red hat in the room. We saw Trump coming in, passing downtown LA. Did you hear anything about him coming in? I'm sure you know what's going on with that.
Yeah, they were very good about security, so I didn't really know that when something was going to happen or where. They're really tight with their security. But the moment I found out, it's like, I'm so busy doing other things. I would have liked to have welcomed him with some art, but it's like, I'd rather attack someone than like be a rah-rah person.
Do you have art with, I've seen, things with his face in, but like, what would be something you would give him? Say if he was sitting in the other chair, what would you hand him?
I recently did Santa Cruz Skate Design has a skate hand like this with a screaming hand.
Yep, the blue one.
Yeah, the blue one. Well, Trump does his hand like this, and which I don't know what you would call it, but every politician when they talk, they always have these hand gestures.
Bernie, all these guys.
Bernie's just like
but a lot of these guys have they talk with their hands.
Yeah, they talk with their hands.
Yeah.
I think they probably learned that in like political school or wherever the hell they go. But it's like Obama had like the picking ants. He would like pick an ant and move it, and that's what Obama did. So how is it? Trump has his thing, and he just does like this. So of course, they turned it into white power. It's like WP, which is the gayest thing in the world. But so you have that. So I turned that screaming hand into like a blue hand going like this.
So are you turning it for the good, or are you turning it for the bad? How do you view it?
No, I view it as pro-Trump. It's like because I would go for a jog every morning, and I would see one of those Santa Cruz hands. And I was like, okay, fuck, I'm going to do with the fingers the way Trump does with the hair. And I'm going to put the Trump hair on it. And as soon as I put them on my website, it's like Santa Cruz sent a cease and desist, which is really sad because it's like, have a sense of fucking humor, man. What the fuck? I don't know. I've seen different iterations of that design. And they never seem to have a problem with that. But
the fact that it's politically driven towards a certain side of the aisle, that's why it's seen as. Again, there's people that bootleg things all the time, and they get through the window.
I know. I used to do that.
But it's like.
Yeah, I used to do that. It's completely. I believe it's because it leans towards a positiveness towards Trump. I think if it was a negative message towards Trump, they probably wouldn't have had a problem with it. Which I think what I think is sad is I look at skateboard, and skateboard's supposed to be fuck the man, it's like anarchy kind of a thing.
It's punk rock.
It's punk rock.
It's doing it yourself, grassroots,
yeah,
DIY.
But it's like these days, the whole left-wing ideology, the whole, it's so, you have to stay within the herd. And if you stray from that herd, they like flick you in the head and say, hey, you're being a Nazi. And that's not punk. That's not independent. That's not, yeah.
Being a free thinker.
Yeah, it's like, they have left-wing doctrine now. And as we were saying earlier, leftism is a religion. It's like when humans are hardwired to look for a higher power, if you believe it or not. It's like if you don't believe in God, if you're an atheist, if you're this, if you're that, you find it someplace else. And the left tends to find it in government. So I loved it when John Lennon would say, it's like, the people are the government. We are the government. It's like, dude, you must be an idiot because there's an entire government class out there and you ain't a part of it.
Yeah, the war is over if you want it.
The
That's what John Lennon's thing was. The war is over if you want it. Him and Yoko would get billboards just like you do with billboards, but they rented it out over New York, and it says in bold letters, white and black, the war is over if you want it.
Yeah.
Which who knows, pie in the sky deal, but it's one of those things where he lived and he spread his message.
No, he did, and John Lennon is an interesting animal. The guy that shot him, who was that? I forget his name.
The Catcher in the Rye guy.
Yeah, the Catcher in the Rye guy,
Yeah.
the crazy guy.
Yeah.
I understand what was running through his head. It's kind of like, okay, you're telling me that consumerism's bad, capitalism's bad, but you're flying on your own jet. You've got all these exotic cows with your country home in England, and it's like you're the epitome of what you're against, kind of a thing. And that's why you would call him a faker. And that's why he hated him so much. And you see that a lot on the left. It's like, do as I say, not as I do.
And a lot of these people, maybe it's surface level, their beliefs. Maybe they believe something else, but they're just trying to get along. So they're just, what do you think?
It's very easy to say hug a whale, save a whale. It's very pet a puppy. I truly believe people don't want to hear the truth. It's like sometimes the truth is not something you want to hear. It's like people ask me, how would you handle gun violence? Well, look at the people pulling the triggers, man. The large majority of them, first off, they lean left. I'd have to say 90% of them are leftists. A huge majority of those young men, they're white young men. They don't have a father in the home, or the father's just not around. Basically, so many leftist policies out there basically created that environment that just makes it acceptable, or not acceptable, but it just creates that environment. So to answer your question, maybe the first thing you should do is don't demonize a father and don't throw him out of the house. It's like, but of course a leftist wants the government to be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I mean, it's their religion. So this very complicated conversation. Hell, I think it started talking about John Lennon. It's like, I love politics. I love hearing about the left and their ideology, how it came about, what the means to the end. And at the end of the day, it's what's the best way to take down Western culture. And whatever it is, I look at a totem pole. And it's like, if you're like the most wired to take down Western culture, Western beliefs, you're at the top of the totem pole. Because it makes absolutely no sense that the left embraces Islam or the Muslims, or they make excuses for them. My entire life, Hollywood has just crapped on Christians. And now they're embracing Islam. It's like, Islam is basically what you said the Christians were times 10. But the only reason they embrace it is because they're significantly anti-Western enough. I mean, they embraced communism in the 70s and 80s. I think it's funny that they're going off on Trump for Russia. It's like the left used to love Russia. They would vacation in Russia. They would take their honeymoons in Russia. It's like you would see them running around with their little red stars and their little red star hats and their Maos and their Che's and their this and their that. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that they don't give a shit about Russia, or somehow Russia's the enemy. It's like they've embraced Russia forever. So once again, it's like, you'll have to forgive me, man. It's like, there's just so much that I want to say. It's just like, blah, it just comes out.
Totally.
But,
no, I dig it. I mean, Robert was saying that you were in the military. Does that have anything to do with, with your beliefs, or is that already happened from day one?
No, absolutely not. It's like my beliefs. What are my beliefs? I joined the military because I was in a trailer in the country and I needed some place to go, and I couldn't afford to go to college. So I figured, why not go in the military, and from there maybe go to college after that. And that's how it worked out. But I truly believe if you're a young man in the country, you should serve it in somehow. Now, there are other ways to serve your country, but it's it's my opinion. I embrace the military in that way. I don't embrace it quite the same way today because as time progresses, and I see how these wars are started and why they're fought, and after a while, you're like, would I want my son or daughter to be in the military? Absolutely not. Not if there's a president that wants to crap on the military. I mean, I wouldn't want a son or a daughter in the military if Obama was a commander in chief. Trump, maybe more so. I mean, if you notice, we're going on our third year. He hasn't started one war. I mean, everyone wants him to go in and attack Syria. Everyone wants him to go in and attack Iraq or Iran. It's like everyone, they're like, the left says, oh my God, he's going to get us into a nuclear conflict with North Korea. They wouldn't have nukes if Madeleine Albright, Jimmy Carter, and during the whole first Clinton administration, had they not set them up with what they need to build nukes. The right was saying all day long, don't set them up with materials that they need. They're telling you right now they're doing it for energy, but they're going to build fucking nukes. And of course, it's just because we're racists and we're bigots and we're xenophobes and this and that. Now look at the conversation we're having. They're building nukes. Yeah. Same thing's going to happen with Iran. It's like they're saying, oh no, we're just doing it for power. The fuck they are. It's like, and of course, it's because we're xenophobes and we're whatever. It's just ridiculous. A dog chasing its tail.
Do you think names like that and saying you're a racist because you have a red hat, is that just an easy way out, just to, an easy way just to end the conversation? Because most things that I've watched where it's right wing versus left, left versus right, it's, it's power in crowds, and it's, usually it's, to whoever it is on either side of the aisle, say like, if you come up with that red hat and talk to some people on the college campus, you're this, that, the other. But if you go to somewhere where it's leaned towards the right, then, it's like a team thing. It's like, Bloods and the Crips.
No. The left created that. It's just a hat.
You think it's more chaos now? I mean,
no. It's chaos brought upon by the left, not by the right. If it wasn't the red hat, it would have been something else. It's like the red hat's just an easy pick, I was listening to some actor, I believe he plays like Captain America or something, and he's like, so what do you mean make America great again? You mean like back in the days of slavery? It's like, no, what it means is when Obama was in office, how many people were unemployed? How many people were on welfare? How many people were on general relief? How many people were trying to get disability? It's like the economy sucked. Obama flat out said, these industries are going overseas and they're not coming back. You'll need a magic wand. It's like, it sucked. I mean, it just sucked. And what this means is we want to make, he said, America, we're going to lead from behind. We're no longer going to be the world's leader. We're going to lead from behind. He would say, there's no such thing as American exceptionalism. It's like, so when we say make America great again, we're saying, no, America is exceptional. People come here. We don't go there. It's like when immigration, people from Mexico or wherever, they come here. We don't go there. We are exceptional. It's like we have an exceptional economy. We have an exceptional work ethic. We have an exceptional history. We got rid of slavery. How long was that around? It's like, so when we say make America great again, you really have to reach to try and find something negative in that. Now when people say they get triggered by this hat, they created the trigger. It's on them, man.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if it wasn't in every tabloid wearing a red hat, it probably wouldn't even be that much of a big deal. It's the fact that it's demonized or whatever. I mean, that's just the way it seems watching CNN, watching MSNBC. I find myself watching all different types of stations, Fox, everything else, just because I'm the kind of person where I think for myself, like going back to that punk rock mentality, because I grew up skateboarding, listening to punk rock and watching the news. I mean, I really haven't even followed the news. I mean, I'm 29 years old. It might be late to start watching the news, but I haven't really started watching the news till the 2016 election, because I was sitting in Vegas one day and at a hotel room after I was working some stagehand gig, and I see Donald Trump do his exception deal, and I was like, something's happening, something's going on. And then when he won, I work at a bar. I'm a sound engineer and DJ and do all the stuff over there at the Hood Bar in Palm Desert in the Palm Springs area. They had the whole thing, Trump won, and it's a predominantly Hispanic community. And there was one drunk white guy, and he was just like, yeah, Trump. But he had his rights to do whatever, because it's a free country. You can do whatever the hell you want. And some girl came up to him and punched him in the face, and it was this whole thing. It was like, that was the night that it happened. I saw violence, and then it's only extremed since then. It's such a shame.
And you know what happened when Obama won? The first time Obama won, I was sitting in a bar, and I remember saying, you people have no idea what you just did. And it had nothing to do with the color of his skin or anything. I learned how to listen to people, read between the lines kind of a thing. And he was a vessel. There was nothing there. I understood what his purpose was. And to that, all I said is, you people have no idea what you just did. And that's it. I accepted it. 4 years, whatever. I campaigned after the 4 years. He won again. Accepted it. I figured, okay. The person that lived here wound up killing themselves because they went on drugs. They couldn't make any money. There were hard times. But point is, I didn't resist. It's like I believe in democracy. I believe the people spoke. And it's like when Bush was in office, there was a rally every other weekend, anti-war rally every other weekend. And then as soon as Obama came in office, no more rallies. And that told me something. They were resisting even back then. They weren't anti-war rallies. They were anti-Republican rallies. The wars still were there. Where were the rallies? They don't give a fuck about the rallies. And that's who these people are. It's like when Bush first got elected, you had the whole Florida thing. Dimple Chad, pregnant Chads, hanging Chads. He's an illegitimate president. The Supreme Court gave him the presidency. It's like, no, it's for the past two Republicans that have won. And I only say that because the one even before before W was his father. He lost the second term. But something happened during the whole Clinton administration. Something just happened. Civility is just gone. It's like, if you were the president, if the other party won, you kept your mouth shut. You let them govern. You let them do their thing. Not these days. These days, you just talk all the shit that you want to about the president. I didn't vote for Clinton, but I stopped listening to Rush Limbaugh and all those other people when they would just like hound him and hound him and hound him. I'm like, you know what, man? I didn't vote for Clinton, but he's my president, but that level of civility is gone. And now it's just flat out violence. And how people can't see that a group like Antifa, they are the modern day brown shirts. They're the Red Guard. They're the Mussolini's black shirts. They're the people, they're the Klan. The Klan used to like cover their faces up with hoods, ride out at night, terrorize the black people. And the reason they wore hoods is because they wanted to remain anonymous. And they were Democrats. And flat out, the Antifa, they're the brown shirts of the Democrat Party. And how people can't see that.
Is it fair to say that they're taking, like a note from the left? I mean, how does that, not to say that the left are Klansmen, but I'm saying like, as far as like attacking each other, I mean, I don't feel like politics were as hardcore as they are now, unless I'm just super naive to it. I mean, nowadays it seems like, we're at war with each other.
Well, I mean, take art, for example. When Obama was in office, every rebel artist out there, Robbie Canal was painting owls and birds. He's like a preeminent guerrilla political artist on the left. Where the fuck were all the posters from Shepard Fairey and Banksy and Robbie about Obama dropping Hellfire missiles on wedding parties in Afghanistan? Where were all those? And they would tell you flat out they wanted to give the first black president a chance. Well, that's like soft bigotry. What you're telling me is you're not going to put that man's feet to the fire because of the color of his skin. You're not going to respect him and hold him up as a man, just a man. You have to look at the color of his skin. So basically, we went for 8 years, bands, artists, movies, going easy on this guy simply because of the color of his skin. Now, obviously, it wasn't the right. They didn't have the right doesn't have Antifa. The right doesn't have those people. We don't have brown shirts. So obviously, it wasn't a violent time. And now, as I said, when Bush was in office, you had a rally every other week. that was a certain level of violence. Now it's just amplified. Now, Republicans went from being the bad guys and the Democrats were the good guys to now the Republicans are just flat out Nazis. And, you know, if you're going to put a Jew in a concentration camp and just gas him to death, the first thing you want to do is you want to paint them as something so evil that you're just in doing that.
Justifying
You're
horrific things.
justifying a horrific thing. You're doing God's work. And it's like, so if you want to punch a Republican, because see, Republicans aren't the bad guys now anymore. They're not just the rich guys out of touch that own yachts. Now they're Nazis. And now they have kids in cages. Now to punch one, you're doing God's work. They're not taking a page from the past. They wrote the book. It's their book. They're just following their own doctrine. So no, they're not taking a page. They're just simply following their own path that they themselves wrote. I was listening to the Dinesh D'Souza movie. I don't know if you know who Dinesh is, but he said every slave owner during the Civil War was a Democrat, every one of them, and to which the Democrats have an answer for that. They'll say, yeah, during the Civil Rights Movement, they flipped. Now all those Democrats are now Republicans. Now I would put up $100 for everyone you can mention. You can't mention 5. If you tried, you probably couldn't mention 5. It never happened. It was a lie. It's like you spot the devil. You say, hey, devil, you're doing this evil shit. Well, the devil has an answer for that. Well, no, hey, this is what really happened. But see, they control the schools, what's taught at the schools. They control Hollywood. They control every poem that's written. They control every song that's written. It's like they tell their story. And you fast forward long enough, it becomes reality. So it becomes reality.
Yeah, like how did we get here? Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's how we got here. Yeah. It's like Deborah Messenger or whatever the hell, that actress from, what was that television show, that gay television show? She said, during the Trump rally that's going on, Trump is here for a fundraiser. I want the name of everyone that attends. That way we can act with them. That's like a drone operator. And what I mean by that is, a drone operator flies a drone, they drop their missiles, they kill scores of people, but the operator goes home and eats a donut and puts something in the microwave and they watch Netflix. He doesn't realize the people that he just fucking massacred the other side of town.
It's like a video game.
Yeah, see, Deborah Messenger.
No attachment.
Deborah Messenger and those people in Hollywood that say blacklist those on the right, they don't realize what they mean is, I can't feed my kids now. I can't pay my rent now. We're going to starve. See, she doesn't care. The collateral damage she doesn't see. She just says what she says. She drops the Hellfire missile and everyone hurts. But she doesn't care because she gets to go home to her house in Brentwood and have her nice meal, has her maid made sure the place was clean. And she goes on and carries on with life. She doesn't see the collateral damage that she had anything to do with. And that's cowardice. That's, and as I said, every form of entertainer out there does it. Comedians are doing it these days. It's like, God forbid you say the wrong word or the wrong joke. It's like you've got, what's his name? Dave Chappelle can run around saying nigger, nigger, fag, fag, nigger, nigger, fag, fucking without impunity at all. It's like, or with impunity. It's like, but God forbid you're white and you do that. I hear a Saturday Night Live, a guy that was about to get hired with Saturday Night Live, they just said, hey, we don't need you, because he had like a bad skit however many years ago. It's like, give me a break, man. Hey, dude, Saturday Night Live would fall all over themselves to get Richard Pryor on stage or Lenny Bruce or any of these other people. It's like, it's sheer insanity. And you're starting to see the left eat themselves now. It's like they've created so many safe spaces that no one's safe.
What do you see the outcome of the election without being a fortune teller?
I don't know. A candidate is not going to beat Trump. What's going to beat Trump is the left, the people. And I've never seen this level of brainwashing. It's like a hat. It's a trigger. It's a Nazi. It's a racism. That's just the hat. It's like if how many people have I run across at a rally that are just stone cold convinced that Donald Trump is a racist? It's like before he became president, everyone was watching his television shows every week. They fucking loved him.
It's so strange how it flipped, flipped like that once it became political. Because again, he had like the number one, what he's all about the ratings type of thing, and people would tune in, have their dinner and watch The Apprentice. I'm sure I never watched the show, but I know a lot of people did watch it. It just seems the fact that he, just the way that the news is throwing things out. I mean, I don't know who to believe, to be honest. I really don't.
You don't know who to believe.
I believe in, without sounding lame or cliche. I stick to music and things that keep me happy. I mean, I watch some political stuff just to be informed, but I'm not the most politically driven person.
See, you almost answered your own question, and you don't even really get it. It's like you said you really weren't interested until after the election, after he became nominated and all this kind of stuff, and you saw someone get hit in a casino. But the first thing that you said was you weren't very politically active until then. Therein lied the problem. It's like politics has never been cool, ever. It's like if you were a 13, 14, 15-year-old and you were engaged in politics, you were a weirdo. It's like all your friends, all they want to do is get laid, get drunk, and get high. Who owns that? It's like if you're going to get laid, drunk, and high, you're a leftist. It's like you're with us, dude. You're watching our
You're
movies.
a hippie.
You're a cool dude. You're listening to our fucking bands. You're not one of those right wingers. It's like so.
Cut your hair.
Yeah. Every kid out there, and it's by design. It's by design. And when something like Trump happened, what you had was a large number of politically retarded, politically illiterate people all of a sudden became engaged. And they were the cause of this chaos. Because if people were engaged and if people were educated politically, we wouldn't have had this. Now we just have idiocracy.
So you were on Fox News, correct? Robert informed me. Were you on at one point?
I believe.
Did an interview?
No. I was on Tucker Carlson, I believe, before he was on Fox. He may have been on Fox, but it's like he's holding a slot now that he didn't have. I think I was like the interview before he went to where he is now. But I'm not a big fan of Fox. I don't watch Fox. I don't watch television. I don't even have television.
What is it about Fox? I mean, in a nutshell, what don't you like about them?
It's not a matter of like. It's like I'm a political junkie. It's like I've had my share of heroin. I've had my share. It's like I don't like. I get my news from everywhere. I mean, I'll jump from the Huffington Post to the Drudge Report to what. If I see something, a headline, and I click on it, I almost don't really check to see who put it out there. And sometimes it's Fox, sometimes it's CNN, sometimes it's whatever. So I guess in a way, indirectly, I do get my news from them, but I don't like tune into Fox. Fox, there's something I call gatekeepers, right-wing gatekeepers. They don't like me. It's like I'm known as a conservative artist, a right-wing artist. The right-wing gatekeepers don't embrace me. It's like I have a potty mouth because it's like I don't. If you were to pull a kid off the street and ask them what's a Republican, and they gave you a definition, they're not going to define me. They'll define Charlie Kirk or Larry or Sean Hannity or one of those people. It's like I try to appeal to the kids that are drinking behind 7-Eleven because the Second Amendment applies to them just as much as it applies to some Southern Baptist Yahoo in Tennessee that goes to church every Sunday. It's like the Second Amendment, that along with the First Amendment and whatever God-given rights you have, the fundamentals that made this country great apply to us all. And it doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left. Now, see, many of those rights, the reason the left has a problem with them is because it strips them of power. It's like it's like the reason they took away my fan page in Facebook, the reason they took away my Twitter page is they don't want me to have a voice. It's like, see, it's very easy for them to say, he's a Nazi, he shouldn't have a voice. But at no point is anyone saying, why do you have a problem with him having a voice? It's like, can you not like go toe to toe with what he's saying? It's like if you were to sit in front of me and just like I had an assistant come here once and they're like, oh, them niggers, I fucking hate niggers. I'm, whoa, dial it back, dude. What are you talking about? Do you mean the way Chris Rock said the difference between a nigger and a black? He said, no, I just fucking hate them all.
It's hate driven, and that I mean,
yeah,
that to me, that like no matter what, however you think, that saying it that way just seems, I don't know, doesn't seem right.
No, there are people like that, but for whatever reason, they think I'm on board with that. So I'm not on board with that, dude. It's like I have no problems with black people. My heart bleeds, dude, for them.
Well, this is the perfect time to. I mean, I wouldn't say plead your case. That's a bad thing to say, but just, I mean, to let people know, just because you have a red hat doesn't mean you want to lynch people.
I'm brown.
Jeez,
I'm brown. And you know what? I haven't been out in the sun in a long time. I can get really dark. I'm darker. I'm as dark as Joy Villa. I'm as dark as some black people. It's like I am not a racist. It's like when how should you say? When I'm out on the street and I'm putting out art at 4 o'clock in the morning and I see a young black man, it looks like he goes to the gym. He's strapped, but you look in his eyes and there's nothing there. He's homeless. He just pissed himself. He's living on a cardboard box. I fume inside because it was a rap industry. It was a drug culture. He probably doesn't have a father in the house. He was probably incarcerated for some bullshit reason. Maybe he was convinced to join a gang and he wound up in jail or whatever. That isn't right-wing shit. That isn't right-wing shit. It was the left that did that. Now we can argue this all day long, but I fume inside. I hurt for that guy. It's like it's kind of like in Mexico. They go from the frying pan into the fire. It's like they're like, the shit is just so bad with the government in Mexico. Let's have a revolution. I think you should have a revolution, but it always has to be, we're going to have a communist revolution. So basically, you're just going to make shit worse. It's like you listen to black people. They talk about how things are so bad and this and that, and they're just going to make shit worse. Fuck Whitey, kill Whitey. It's like they hear all this violent crap that comes from the left. They're the problem. They're the reason you're in the situation that you're in. Hate them. Vote against them. It's like, no, dude. Why don't you just pump the fucking brakes, breathe a little, acquire some skills, hug the family, maybe even go to church. I don't go to church, but it's like you're being lied to. The reason you're in the situation you're in, every ghetto out there, every weekend in Chicago, 40 people are getting shot, 7 are getting killed. No one gives a fuck. They have the strongest anti-gun laws. It's like every slum out there, black community slum, is run top to bottom by Democrats. Everyone. They no longer have a Republican to point at and say, that's the problem. But see, for some reason, no one's getting that. It's like, no. Sometimes the answers are difficult. You know, sometimes the answers are, I mean, if someone comes up to me and says, I want to be this for a living. I'm like, well, you're not, okay, great, you can be that, but you're not going to make any money. It's not a marketable skill. It's like, it's a brutal world. It's a brutal fucking world. When you're a minority, it can be even more so. That's why you shouldn't pick up that beer. That's why you shouldn't smoke that joint. That's why you shouldn't do those drugs. That's why you should focus on your family. That's why you should focus on acquiring a skill. That's why, dude, you're already behind the fucking 8 ball. It's like these days, it's like legalize pot. Pot's cool. Fuck, if you don't like pot, you're a nerd. Pot never hurt anybody. Who the fuck's got time for that? The shit's expensive. It keeps you null in the head. It's like, you got to focus on making a living, man. You got to focus on picking yourself up. No one else is going to do it. You want to spend your day drunk and stoned, that's your business. But don't ask me to fucking support you. It's like, they say free college. Bernie, all the Democrats are going to give you free college. What the hell good is free college if all it is an indoctrination? It's like, they're not teaching you shit. They're just trying to indoctrinate you. The moment they sit you down to watch Scooby-Doo in the morning, the evil guy is the banker with the cigar, and he's wearing a suit, and they pull the mask off, and it's like Shaggy looks like a hippie that smokes pot, and he fucking has a mystery machine. It's like you start off there.
You're conditioned into seeing
Who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. Then you go to preschool, and then every 85% of those teachers are hard leftists, not even leftists, hard leftists. You're taught from there. You go into elementary, preschool. God forbid you get into college. Indoctrinated from the fucking start. The whole time there, you're listening to your bands. Your bands are like, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. We're the good guys, they're the bad guys. And it's like, you watch a fucking movie, same thing. It's like every actor or actress is telling you who the fucking good guys are, who the bad. Leonardo da Vinci said, there are people that see, there are people that see when they're shown, and there's some people that'll never see at all. It's like people that can see, they don't need to watch the news. They just need to observe. Observe how people talk, how they operate throughout life, how they maneuver through life, and they can see what's going on. Hollywood understands that there are those people out there that will believe what they're shown. And that's why you have the Scooby-Doo and the entertainers and the singers and the poets. And then the other people, the third branch that we'll never see no matter how many times they're shown, they're fucking idiots anyways. But they can be violent. So
is that how you do your thing through art? You know, is that like what you're conveying now is through art, basically? I mean, that's what I'm looking at, like embodying it. Is that what I'm looking at here?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
It's like, I love how people read into my motives a lot. You know, they'll say, oh, this is what SABO is trying to do. SABO's trying to show the hypocrisy in Hollywood and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm trying to do that. I'm just trying to visually convey. I guess it's hypocrisy. I don't know what it is. It's like you look at this, the Royals. I did this when Hillary was going to be coronated with the with a Democrat nomination. I mean, she totally screwed Bernie out of the nomination. You had Donna Brazile giving her the questions to the debates, before the debates. The Democrat Party is so completely owned by the Clintons. It's just the more you learn about politics, the scarier it becomes, because you realize the DNC and the RNC are corporations for the most part. They're not even really parties. It's like they own the country, and they're basically corporations to some degree. It's like, God help you trying to start your own, because if you started your own, are you even going to make it onto the debate stage? The police, they're not police. The police are an extension of the mayor. It's like if the mayor's a communist and the mayor says, I don't like these laws, I don't want you to, I want you to stand down and don't arrest these Antifa people when they walk in there with explosives and this and that, and just look the other way. After a while, you're like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the police. What do you mean you're not sanctuary cities? Wait a minute, we have laws. It's like there's a reason why we have immigration. It's like we want to make sure that people come here, they don't have diseases, that they're not unsavory people, that they're not criminals, they're not rapists, they're not murderers. There's a certain process that you have to go through in order to come to this country legally. It's like, no, the Democrats are like, fuck it, open the gates. Oh, you're a racist, you're a homophobe.
Why do you think they're opening the gates?
Because they think that they're going to vote Democrat. They want to change the powers that be.
I mean, what if those people turn? Then it's against them, right?
Well, see, if they turn, then the Democrats are going to create catapults, and they're going to catapult their asses over the border.
So either way, it's either my side or my way or the highway, right?
Right. I heard a young lady once say, I don't mind having a tyrant so long as it's my tyrant. It's like the Democrats don't mind having as many unsavory people to which everyone's going to say, oh, he's saying Mexicans are unsafe. No, I just mean they just want numbers. It's like they're going to tell everyone that comes across that border that you're a Democrat, here's a loaf of bread, we're going to take care of you, free health care, all this other kind of
shit. Just a promise.
A promise with the hopes that they're going to vote Democrat. And that's their way of putting a foothold. Now, the whole question about what happens if they decide to vote Republican, well, they'll cross that bridge when they get there. And trust me, it's kind of like what that lady said. She likes a tyrant so long as it's her tyrant, or she'll put up with the tyrant so long as it's her tyrant. Well, what happens when the tyrant's not on her side anymore? Well, I guess she'll cross that bridge when she gets there. But I don't know.
Can we talk about the military for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah. When did you serve?
86 to 90, I was in tanks. I got fucked the day I got in. It's like I wanted to go in the Army, get a Green Beret. I realized you have to work towards that, and I would have gotten one. I was not afraid of working hard. But a friend of mine said, "Hey, man, join the Marines with me." I said, "No, man, I'm going to the Army." He said, "No, please." I broke down and cried. "You're my best friend. Come in the Marines with me." And okay, fuck it. He twisted my arm hard enough. I joined the Marines with him. The day to go into boot camp, the day to fly out, he didn't show up. So I'm like, "Hey, dude, where are you?" "Fuck that. Those Marines are crazy." I'm like, "Great." And like an idiot, I grew up around pot. I never smoked pot. I never even drank. But my stepdad, he'd have 10 pounds on the table. He'd be cutting up. I could have smoked out however much I wanted. Never did it. But on graduation night, I smoked a joint. I told the recruiter, "Hey, on graduation night, I smoked a joint." But of course, I was brown as hell and I had long black hair. And he looked at me like, "Yeah, right. You only smoked one joint." So he tore my communications contract up. And he says, "You're not going to be in communications. You're going to be a grunt." I said, "Fuck that, man." It's like, whatever. And he's okay, combat options. So they put me on a tank. So not only did I get screwed because now I'm not going in the Army, 2, my buddy's not coming with me, and 3, I'm not even going in communications, I'm going in a combat field. So needless to say, when I got into the Marine Corps, I was pretty fucking pissed. And that was 4 very long years. And I was the nicest kid in the world, man. It's like if I had a son half of what I was, I'd be a happy man. But got fucked right out of the gate. I had a bad attitude. I did my 4 years and I got the hell out. I don't keep in touch with one person I was in the Marine Corps with. And, it was just the military. I did the best job that I could, and that was that.
Did it help with anything? I mean, are you still using anything you've learned?
Man, I always had a strong work ethic. It's like I was never afraid of work. I think that played in well with the military because, they require things of you. You fucking do them. You don't bitch, moan, and complain, and that's it. What that meant was it wasn't complete hell for me. They taught me how to clean. Marines know how to do like 2 things, shoot guns and clean. It's like, other than that, man, not much else.
It was just a part of your life, and it's over now.
It's over. It's I don't get people that go through their whole life and they wear their like ball hat and like USMC and everything. And you look at their vehicle and they got stickers all on the.
Why do you think that is?
It's kind of like Al Bundy. He threw 3 touchdowns, in high school, and it's like, dude, glory days. Fucking Bruce Springsteen has a whole song about it. It's like, dude,
yep.
It's like, let it go, man. You know what? That was a part of my life. I lived it. I like that I'm a Marine. I earned that Eagle, Globe, and Anchor. I remember the day that they gave us the first that we ironed on our camis. It's like, you earned that. And you did your 4 years, you got your honorable discharge, and that's that. Then I went to college, Art Center College of Design. Everyone, "Oh, you can't get in there. It's a hard college to go to. Only super talented and super rich people get to go there." I worked my way on. I applied my discipline. I literally stood at attention reading the books and doing my work. And I earned my way into that place. After 5 terms, I'm like, fuck this place. It's not worth the money. It's just a scam. And I left the art center. And you know what? Outside of Robert, he's the only person that I've seen in a decade from school. So I don't keep in contact with those people. And again, it's just a part of life. You move on. And that's that.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to let people know that are watching this? I mean, because we're going to be showing this, on YouTube. That's basically what we're doing. Instagram. I mean, I know you got kicked off your platforms. I'm sure you come back on them, but is there anything you want to just tell your fans or tell people that maybe don't agree with you or just the everyday guy, just who you are and what you stand for in a nutshell?
What I stand for is, or if there's anything I want people to know, I can't convince you of anything. It's like realizing you have no power over people, places, and things is a very liberating thing. It's like I know I'm not a racist. To which people will say, "Why do you have to say that? Why do you have to say that?" Well, because you're always calling me a racist. It's like I know a lot of people out there are pretty much politically retarded, and I can't help them. It's like if they're going to hate me, they're going to hate me. It's like I can't help them. I'm not the things that they say. One thing that I do like is when people meet me, I'd say a huge majority of the time, they walk away thinking, wow, you're not the guy I thought you were. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm nowhere near close to what you think I was. I lean to the left on a lot of issues. But once again, the thing about liberal doctrine is if you don't follow every guideline, you get thumped. It's like, fuck you, man. I'm an individual. I'm my own guy. It's like, I learn, I may wake up with, oh, I was wrong about that, whatever. It's like, I take a lot of heat. I can take heat from the right for some of the things that I believe, but fuck them too. It's like, I believe what I believe. I'll stand by my word. And that's that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sitting down with us, and I know you have some stuff to get to, and we drove out from the desert. It was about a 3-hour drive, so we're going to head back to Palm Springs. But good luck with everything, and your art. I've really actually never seen anything quite like it. It almost looks like photoshopped at some things. Like this is like, I mean, that's quite a bit of work, if that's all.
It's real.
As it appears.
It's all real.
Yeah.
It's like, my heart warmed when I saw Maxine Waters' face like slide up on that billboard. I was like, it was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, that's like the best hit.
I mean, that's one way to get attention. I mean, not saying that you're going for that, but it's just with art, it's just a way to
Well, it helps to get attention.
Well, I mean, I don't know what your motives are with that, but it's one of those things where, I mean, I guess art, it's best shared.
Yeah, one campaign that I'm going to start working on is a Beto campaign. Not that I think he has a snowball's chance in hell, but right now there's a billboard out there with Will Smith, and he has an AR. And of course, I'm just going to have like Beto there. I'll take that. Or it's like, how many movie posters out there have guns, ARs, and all this other kind of stuff? And they're all leftists.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. So it's like, the reason why the gun companies don't advertise is because they don't have to. It's like Hollywood does it for them. So
yeah, that's
the irony.
The crazy world we live in. Thank you very much for sitting down.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
right.
Thank you guys.
But yeah, cool.
High Desert Podcast. Yeah. We were coming in, and I noticed, the red flag, actually the red hat in the room. We saw Trump coming in, passing downtown LA. Did you hear anything about him coming in? I'm sure you know what's going on with that.
Yeah, they were very good about security, so I didn't really know that when something was going to happen or where. They're really tight with their security. But the moment I found out, it's like, I'm so busy doing other things. I would have liked to have welcomed him with some art, but it's like, I'd rather attack someone than like be a rah-rah person.
Do you have art with? I mean, I've seen things with his face, but like, what would be something you would give him? Say if he was sitting in the other chair, what would you hand him?
I recently did Santa Cruz Skate Design has a skate hand like this with a screaming hand.
Yep, the blue one.
Yeah, the blue one. Well, Trump does his hand like this, and which I don't know what you would call it, but every politician when they talk, they always have these hand gestures.
Bernie, all these guys.
Yeah, Bernie's just like,
everybody's. But a lot of these guys have, they
Yeah,
talk with their hands.
Yeah, they talk with their hands.
Yeah.
I think they probably learn that in like political school or wherever the hell they go. But it's like Obama had like the picking ants. He would like pick an ant and move it, and that's what Obama did. So how is it? Trump has his thing, and he just does like this. So of course, they turned it into white power. It's like WP, which is the gayest thing in the world. But so you have that. So I turned that screaming hand into like a blue hand going like this.
So are you turning it for the good, or are you turning it for the bad? How do you view it?
No, I view it as pro-Trump. It's like because I would go for a jog every morning, and I would see one of those Santa Cruz hands, and I was like, okay, fuck, I'm going to do with the fingers the way Trump does, with a hair, and I'm going to put the Trump hair on it. And as soon as I put them on my website, it's like Santa Cruz sent a cease and desist, which is really sad because it's like, have a sense of fucking humor, man. What the fuck? I don't know. I've seen different iterations or of that design, and they never seem to have a problem with that. But
The fact that it's politically driven towards a certain side of the aisle, that's why it's seen as. I mean, again, there's people that bootleg things all the time, and they get through the window.
I know. I used to do that.
But I mean, it's like.
Yeah, I used to do that. It's completely. I believe it's because it leans towards a positiveness towards Trump. I think if it was a negative message towards Trump, they probably wouldn't have had a problem with it. Which I think what I think is sad is I look at skateboard, and skateboard's supposed to be fuck the man. It's like anarchy kind of a thing.
It's punk rock.
It's punk rock.
It's doing it yourself, grassroots,
Yeah.
DIY.